All right, my name is Dick Eiden, and I think I know most of you, and I'm happy to see you all here, and thanks for coming. Occupy Wall Street began with a demonstration on September 17th. Nobody knew or intended that it would be longer than a week. But within 2 weeks, I felt like it had the potential to be the biggest movement since the 1960s, the biggest source of hope for fundamental change since the 1960s, for fundamental change in the partisan, gridlock, crisis-ridden system. To me, it looked like a big wave off in the horizon, and I immediately turned and started to paddle. I'd always been out beyond the waves, never intending to ride those small waves in that dirty surf. But this one looked like a possible game changer back then, and even more so now. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. And in this case, I want to help give expression to those politics in the electoral arena and help push that wave as far as it can go in this cycle, in this historic time. It is a very historic time. I think that it is the most significant time. It isn't just an appearance. And I've been watching these waves on the horizon for a long time. I've been waiting for the young people to emerge. I've been waiting for something meaningful, some meaningful challenge to the system. And finally, it seems to me as though this is really something. And it's partly, and it's not because of Occupy Wall Street entirely, it's partly because the Western economies are trapped in their own logic. They are crumbling, they are collapsing. Collapse doesn't take place all at once. Collapse takes place slowly, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the collapse of the Western economies. So the two parties, the status quo, will try to ignore the fundamental systematic demands of the Occupy movement, the undue influence of the financial sector, the looting of America and the world, the growing inequality between rich and poor in this country, and between rich and poor in countries, rich and poor countries in the world. Let's not forget, we're the bottom 99% here, but we're the top 1% in the world. The powerlessness and voicelessness of the 99%, even in this so-called democracy, the demise of the middle class, the cutbacks for the 99%, the bonuses for the 1%. They won't address, the two parties won't address, I'm talking about, basically, not everybody will be this way, of course. They won't address the fundamental economic crisis taking place throughout the Western world. They'll look for scapegoats and band-aids. They won't address the possibility of fundamental flaws in the system itself. And I want to, and I think that the Occupy movement is challenging the system itself, and I think the system itself should be challenged, and it should be questioned. We should be questioning the economic system, and we should be questioning the political system, because they are both failing us miserably. And some people will say that this is unpatriotic, that this is beyond the pale, that this is utopian, pothead Kool-Aid that we're talking about. But I don't think so. Let me read a quote from Thomas Jefferson. He says, "I'm not an advocate for frequent changes in laws and constitutions, but laws and institutions must go hand in hand with the progress of the human mind as that becomes more developed, more enlightened, as new discoveries are made, new truths discovered, and manners and opinions change. With a change of circumstances, institutions must advance also to keep pace with the times. We might as well require a man to still wear the coat which fitted him when a boy, as civilized society to remain ever under the regimen of their barbarous ancestors."
Here, here.
Okay. So change is something, everyone pays lip service to the Founding Fathers, but change is something they contemplated. They didn't contemplate that we would live by these laws. In fact, if you look at the Founding Fathers and a lot of other of our leaders throughout history, they complain about the role of the banks. They complain about the role of the military. They say that we can't have a democracy under these circumstances, and yet those circumstances have prevailed, and that's what we're living with. I think I'm going on too long. I'm sorry. I do have a lot more to say. I'll try to cover some of it in the question and answer period then. I'm in this race basically because I'm the only one, being an independent, I'm the only one who has the complete freedom to speak truth to power, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If you watch these debates unfold, between the Democrats and the Republicans, you'll see that they avoid some of the important subjects. They skirmish over little things where they can get an advantage. They're not necessarily the issues that are most important to us, but they're the issues that they will talk about because they're important to winning the election, to getting an edge over their competitors.